Hey, what's up guys, it's Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So what I have for you today is I wanted to talk a little bit expanding upon the video that we had yesterday. We were talking about the ins and outs of the character creator, and what I liked and what I didn't like about it, and as you guys already commented, your thoughts on the matter, those are going to be in Friday's video, so look forward to that. But today I'm also going to add on to that. And this is another video where if your comments are in here, they're also going to go into Friday's video, because I'm going to try to make it a pretty lengthy video, I want to say. And let me know in the comment section here, as well as the thing for today, if you would like me to read your comments aloud, or if you would like me just to show them on screen. What is more engaging to you personally? What do you think? And I'll collect the number of votes, and whichever one wins is what I'm going to do from now on. So just do that. And what I want you to comment today about is things that you would like to see change in the character creator, like compared to other games, maybe such as Fallout or Sims or something, as we'll get into. How could they make the character creator better and more engaging to give us more options and a better way of creating characters so that they feel more ours and not just as generic as everybody else is, without trying to force things and be creative and clever when it comes to creating our designs. So the way that I'm going to go about this is I'm going to compare it to other games and see if they implement structures that are kind of similar to that in their own system. And if they do that, I think it'll make the creator better. So the starting one is, we all know that in like Fallout 4 you create your character. Most of the Fallout games do this, but what I really want them to take away from this is you choose a generic face, obviously, but then you're allowed to manipulate the face. And what I mean by that is you can move to like the eye section, and everything's in quadrants. So you have like the eye section, or the cheeks, or the lips, or the nose, the hairline, the ears, the lobes, everything, and you're allowed to kind of PC style, like on computer style, drag and adjust the axes, and you can push and pull things and pretty much be as creative as you want by almost molding it like it's clay, and creating your character that way by starting with a base and then using minimalistic manipulation to get the desired effect that you want. And there's been a lot of creative effects that have come out of that system. You can have many different iterations of whatever you're going for, and it's highly unique from anybody else that's trying to do something similar. So with that being said, I think if we're trying to make a direct character, because some of us create unique characters, but then there's other people like myself and a subscriber on this channel, also Steve, who we create characters directly from outside sources. Like I like to create comic book characters, he likes to create like anime characters and such. So I think that's like really a good thing to do. It will be a good tool to help us, I should say. Like, if you know there's specifics about a character, he just doesn't look exactly right, but we're going based on, like, what, the collection of, like, 15 faces that they're offering us. If they gave us those same base faces, but allowed us to manipulate it in some way, I don't know why they're worried so much about that. Other games have done it as well. Like, The Sims has that same similar system, where you can actually, like, adjust the different points of interest on a character's face and their body type and body shape, and you can manipulate it as you please to get the desired effect. And I think this would help us go a long way with trying to immerse us in our gameplay and creating characters that we're very proud of and that we want to show off to people and that we have fun playing with. Another point that I want to go back to is something they actually did in Soulcalibur 3, but they took away, which is one of my favorite aspects of 3 again, and another reason why it's one of my favorite Soulcalibur game. The created characters, or the creator soul, they acted as a separate function from the regular cast, whereas you would give them the weapon style that you wanted to use, but those weapon styles were not exactly the same unless you connected the soul. Like, for example, if you wanted to get, like, let's say the kunai, and you, like, Taki's weapon, and you gave them to your character, you would have wholly different moveset from Taki unless you got the I think there was an exact one that's like the soul of Taki, and like when you did that, it would be like her moveset. But like separately, you can use like fireballs and like teleportation and like dive kicks, and it was just like a wholly different moveset from Taki itself. So it had some similarities, but there was major differences as well. And I think that went a long way to like differentiate our characters from like the cast characters that are already in the game. And that's something I would really like to see again, because right now it's like if you see a weapon of a created character, they're going to be using that exact moveset, so you know how to defend against it. But I like being able to switch it up a bit and being like keeping them on their toes for a minute. Like, is that Taki style? Is that the created character's Taki style? Like, you know, just it would add to a fun element of gameplay and give more a diverse array of movesets for different characters, so that when we're actually playing against each other, it feels more unique, like they're our own and they're not just copy and pastes of other characters. Another point that I wanted to bring up, comparing it directly, I guess, from another game, is Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which didn't have the greatest creative character system, mind you, but it went out of its way to, like, try to mend to your creativity. Like, for example, there was, like, if you wanted to make, like, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII or Goku, for example, they had those hairstyles in there automatically, specifically under, like, Anime 1 and Anime 2. Like, knowing that people would want to create certain characters like that, they would kind of influence our creativity by giving us those options. And this goes into a little bit what we were talking about yesterday, how we were just saying how we're just... The character creator system is decent in Soulcalibur 6, but we're just upset that they keep on giving us the same stuff that we've already bought in previous games. And even some people that didn't buy the DLC, like they were mentioning in my comments yesterday, I can understand that this is new for you, and that's great, but a lot of us have already used these, and a lot of these are like products of the modern era and stuff with characters we can't even create, so they're just, without manipulation, they're just there to fill us fluff, because unless you're going for a wacky, crazy character that doesn't really make any sense aesthetically, if you're trying to go for a specific design, a lot of the things that they have are either mildly altered forms of variations that already exist in the game, or they're just something that you can't really do anything with. And again, from yesterday, I know it makes sense, but we have a lot of issues with certain character part pieces where if you're trying to have this thing on, but you want this thing underneath, sometimes they won't let you do it. It'll say it'll interfere. Like, just let it clip and make a cool looking design. Like, if we want to go crazy, we want to go crazy. Another way they can make it better, which I mentioned yesterday, I got some feedback from this, and I actually want to change my opinion a bit. So I was mentioning they should get rid of the race system altogether. But then some people are talking about how hard it would be to make certain races. So I want to kind of alter that opinion a little bit and say that they should have a race system then, but it should be things that are highly different from, like, humans, and everybody should still be able to use every piece of equipment. Like, carte blanche, like, no matter what. I don't care if it's angel wings, I don't care if it's horns, I don't care if it's a pink frilly dress or black dragon armor. Like, everybody in every race and every gender should be able to use the same clothes. That way we can manipulate them how we want. And if you're going to make a race, let's say like an ogre race or a lizard race, you need male and female variations of those characters as well. Even if you think the female variation would look exactly the same as the male variation, specify by changing up the base character design a little bit and let us decide and choose like what we want to keep and what we want to manipulate. So I just wanted to alter that opinion and give a little clarification based on that. Now, there's also other games that like try to implement character creator, but they don't do such a good job of it, and a lot of those characters end up just looking boring and bland. I want to say one thing that this game does do well, and I'm speaking back about Mortal Kombat Armageddon, but this time I'm also going to put my 2 cents in for Naruto Shinobi Striker, is you can pretty much have every piece from everybody in the game, as well as like facial expressions, tattoo pieces, and the like. And if we have everything from every base model in the game down to the point where we can create that character again if we wanted to, like piece by piece, that would go a long way, because we can mix and match and make different like character creations. We could even do kind of fusions. We can even kind of act like how we're a part of it. They've gotten better with that in Soulcalibur 6. Like when the DLC character comes out, you do have all their pieces, and a majority of the characters in the game, you do have a lot of their stuff. but it's not down to a T. Like, you don't have directly all their hairstyles. You don't directly have their faces, for example. You don't directly have any of that. So I just want them to give a little bit more of attention to that kind and just give us more options. And I think that makes sense, and I think a lot of people would agree with me when it comes to that. And the last thing that I want to mention is weapon styles and fighting styles. I would like them to incorporate styles and weapon classes that aren't on the main guest cast. Just even if they're generic and they don't have a lot of movesets. Like, let's say you have Keelik's bow staff, and let's say you want to take his bow staff, but you don't want his special, or you don't want his super, or something like that. I wish they would, like in other games, would give us, let's talk about Dragon Ball Xenoverse, for example. I wish that the supers and the grabs and the counters all were like separate, so that you can choose which ones you wanted to use on your weapon class style, whether it worked super well or not. So if you're going to have, like, let's say, Mitsurugi style, but like you want to have Taki's grab, and you want to have like Setsuka's super move, like her critical edge, whatever, like that is what I'm talking about. Like being able to pick and choose different parts and variations of these styles and using them towards how you want it to be. And this would just go a long way to being creative and letting us make our characters how we want. And those are just a few thoughts off the top of my head. I can probably go on for this for longer, but I want to pass the question off on to you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know if you agree with any of these, or add on some things that I didn't mention that would just make the roster of the creation characters that much more enjoyable. In tomorrow's video, we're going to talk about modes that they can add to enhance our gameplay with our created characters specifically, because this week's theme is created character. And then on Friday is going to be our community video where I talk about your guys' comments, and that you left me in the comment section. So with that being said, we're going to bring this video to a close, guys. And as always, stay awesome. Peace.